Hey, it's Michael Dowd with USCCA, and I'm here today at Training Center Los Angeles, and I'm going to be showing a couple different rifle dry fire drills, specifically reloads, that are going to help make you a faster and more proficient shooter. Watch a lot of people shooting, and I know with pistol, the reloads all kind of the same, but with rifle, I tend to see 2 to 3 different variations of reloads. And I'm gonna go over 2 that I see that are probably the most common and most efficient. One is gonna be for more like a competition style, and one is gonna be more for a dynamic environment. Think like combat shooting or being inside an interior space. And there's a reason why there's one versus the other. So how I set up this dry fire, always I make sure my rifle is clear and safe, and I make sure that the only rounds inside my magazine are dummy rounds. And in my back pocket, it's always dummy rounds. Make sure it's a completely safe environment so no accidents happen. I set up my rifle where the bolt is locked back, and I take my magazine. It can be empty or dummy rounds, doesn't matter. The point is the bolt is locked back. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna practice my reloads. So the first one I'm gonna be doing is a reload that is much faster. It's probably the fastest way to reload a gun, a competition reload. And the reason I call it a competition reload is because it keeps the muzzle on target. I'm using the entire weight of the gun in my wrist. It's a little harder to support, but it's very fast. There are some limitations to it, but here's the drill. I push out, I drop the magazine, I sweep for my new mag, insert, push, roll back, and I take my shots. So in slow-mo, I'm dropping the magazine, pulling the new magazine out, insert, slam home with the thumb bolt release, slide back out, and take my shots. So I'm really not losing any sight picture. I'm not losing my cheek weld. I can if I had to, but everything is staying pretty tight up in my face, and I'm just manipulating the rifle magazine from in my pant pocket, or if I have a belt or a chest holder. So bolt locks back, I drop the magazine, new mag comes up and insert, press the button, slide forward, and now I'm pulling and I'm taking my shots. So it's a very efficient way to reload. It's very fast. Here's a downside. Imagine you are running and gunning. So I'm moving real fast, and now I'm just gonna stay here and drop and keep this muzzle here. I'm gonna be shaking. It's not gonna be as ideal. Can it be done? Yes, but typically when you're moving, people will drop it more and actually try to stabilize this gun a little bit better.
Hey, I'm pausing the video right now to let you know about a free giveaway that USCCA has going on right now. Check out the link below for all the details, and let's get back to the video.
So for static speed drills, or for you stop and you take your shots and you have to reload right here and there and you're stable, this is definitely a reload you want to be trying. This is probably the fastest way you can be reloading anyway, so something you want to practice in your daily repertoire. Now, one of the limitations to this is actually in combat, in kind of a dynamic environment. Think law enforcement clearing a house, military clearing a room, or you in a home defense situation. If I have to reload and I keep the gun like this and I were to turn to move dynamically, I'm in a doorway and I have to move. I'm now locked in here to my shoulder, and now I may be sweeping anyone involved. So I'm now sweeping the entire room to get my reload and roll away from the door. So this is why this second reload, we call it the combat reload in the teams. This is a way to reload your gun without being fixed and aiming your gun potentially in a dangerous direction. I take my shot, the bolt locks to the rear, I break the gun down, and as I'm breaking the gun down, I push the magazine release and the mag pops out. As I frame it up, just like my pistol reload, I frame it up into my face where my eyes can transition between target and reload freely, but I still have situational awareness of everything. I'm not down here. So I bring the gun inside my forearm. My other hand comes down to my magazine. I insert magazine. I roll send, regrip, take my shot. Now, some people say maybe that's a little too slow. Well, I promise you, I can do this reload faster than most people can do the other reload. It just takes practice. And the second thing I hear is, well, putting the muzzle into the air, what if that's not a safe direction? Well, I'll tell you where that comes from. Muzzle in the air is a training scar that comes from training inside a house and having instructors in the rafters. And that's a chief complaint of instructors who have to be in the rafters, but that's not realistic to everyday police in a house or military members clearing a room or you in self-defense. There's not going to be people standing in your attic, plus your gun is empty, so I don't buy that argument anyway. The moment my gun goes empty, I break it down, insert, I'm free to spin 360, I'm free to roll around a door, and my muzzle's in a safe direction. It's not going to be sweeping anyone. Regardless what you choose, I do recommend practicing both these reloads. This is something that you have to know both, because there are situations where you need to go extra fast and there's situations where you need to have dynamic ability to move. So there are two ways you can be practicing your reloads. I know there are other different ways you can try them. These are two that I prefer. One is incredibly fast and the other one gives you quite a bit of maneuverability when you're going around clearing spaces. No matter what, both of them you got to practice because they are quite different. You want your muscle memory to be essentially on the one that you like the best, but definitely practice and try them because you may prefer one over the other. Something to remember when you're dry firing is dry fire is meant to make you faster at shooting. You don't have to go fast to get faster. You have to get perfect and you have to get great placements and touch points. So what I mean by that is you have to be perfect. You can't be sloppy. So if you start doing movements and you're dropping here, you know, or your arm comes down, dropping, that's not it. Go slow, go perfect. Watch yourself in a mirror if you want. You can aim the gun at your reflection in the mirror and see what you're doing as you're doing it. I don't drop the gun. I have my hands in the same touch points. My cheek is in the same touch point. When I break the gun down, is the gun up in my sight line or is the gun down and my eyes are going down? Those are like the little things when you're training in your dry fire you want to look for to make sure that you're not slacking off in your training, because once you do 10,000 reps of it incorrectly, now you have to do 10,000 more just to break that habit and go back to starting. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and let us know in the comments section some of the dry fire drills that you like to do. And also, of the two different reloads, which one do you prefer, or is there a third method that you use? I'd love to hear it. And as always, continue training because that's how we move forward and that's how we progress.